So welcome everybody to our the Perfect TEFL interview webinar, I guess you can call it. But I'm also going to cover CV prep as well and any questions you have. Just to let you know, guys, before I start, this webinar is being recorded. So if you wish, you can turn your camera off. I do ask just to be mindful of your microphone as well, because some noise can come up on the webinar, just to note as well, guys, okay? Please let me know if my sound is okay. If you could give me a thumbs up, let me know if there's any issues there. You can see me clearly. Fantastic.
Yes.
Perfect. Let me know if there's any issue, guys, okay? All right, I'd like to start today by introducing myself. My name is Jessica. I am the recruitment specialist here at the TEFL Institute. I mostly help our TEFL graduates or students with the whole process of finding a job, writing their CV, interviewing, every stage of their journey. I also help our interns who take part in our internships going abroad. And I also work very closely with our partners for these internships. I myself was an English teacher before this role. I taught abroad in Asia, Europe, and I also taught online as well. So I'm really excited to be here today, guys, to share my tips and help you on your journey as well, no matter what stage you're at. I don't know, do a lot of you here, are you looking for jobs online? Maybe if you can give me a thumbs up there or in the chat, if you can let me know, are you looking to teach abroad or online? You know, I'm going to cover it all today, really, but more than likely your interview will be online, so it'll be via Zoom or Skype. So I'm going to more focus on that side of things. Okay, so we have, yeah, potentially abroad. Julia says there, online. Yeah, online has become so popular now, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, gonna mix of both as well, I guess, to see what's out there. Lovely, guys. So what I'm going to cover today, so firstly, we're going to talk about how to write a TEFL CV. This is different from your typical CV for a job. I'm going to give you some extra advice and some tweaks that you can make for a TEFL CV. Sorry, just saw a quick question there from Neev. Will the recording be available after the meeting? Yes, absolutely, Neev. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it to our YouTube channel so you can view it probably by tomorrow time, or you can share it with your friends as well. So sorry there, guys. So yeah, we're going to cover how to write a TEFL CV. Then secondly, how to prepare for a TEFL interview. So just before you have your interview, what can you do to prep for it? And then thirdly, the do's and the don'ts of a TEFL interview. And at the very end, I'm going to have a Q&A session. Now, you feel free to pop in questions throughout as well. I want this to be a very open conversation. If you want to put them in the chat box or you want to shout them out, feel free. Or you can wait till the very end and we'll have a Q&A session. Okay, guys? All right, I think everyone has arrived. So I'm going to start, guys. So firstly, let's cover what we need to include in our CV. So firstly, we really want our CV to be tailored for the job we're applying for. This is an obvious one. But when it comes to TEFL, things are going to be slightly different here, okay? So number one, if you have a pen and paper there, guys, you can jot down a few of these points. Number one is obviously her basic information, your name, contact information, okay? Now, the only difference there possibly is to remind yourself, put in your country code for your phone number, okay? Because you're applying to more than likely employers, foreign employers, okay? So they need to be able to contact you if it's phone call, text, or even WhatsApp possibly sometimes. So don't forget the country code. I see a lot of CVs and people forget that one. Also, what could be nice to add in there is your Skype ID. So if you have Skype, you can find your ID, or even just create a quick account. It's just a nice touch to have if they do want to have a quick call with you or have the interview via Skype as well. Okay, and number 2, so we're talking about the main body of the CV, which is your work experience. Now, I usually tell people you don't need to list your entire work history, okay? What we want to focus on here is the most relevant experience. So I usually like to section my CV into 2 parts when it comes to experience. At the top, you are going to have your most relevant experience. So you can label it simply relevant experience. And here you would be listing experience, ideally teaching experience, but if you don't have this, you can include, possibly childcare experience if the teaching role is related to teaching children. Possibly maybe any training roles that you had in your work, anything that would be people focused. Even if you had only maybe experience in hospitality, you can mention, your customer facing experience. I had to train my colleagues, even customer service. That is really relevant to teaching as well, because you are dealing with people on a daily basis. All right. And then after your relevant experience, in the next section down the end, you can list other experience, okay, if you do wish to. But, I find a lot of the time, if you want to keep it more condensed, put in the most relevant experience for you, okay? Is there any questions on that, guys? Is that okay? All right. Just to add as well, guys, if you are really stuck for relevant experience, I always tell people you can include babysitting if you've ever done a bit of babysitting, even for your cousins or anything like that. Sports coaching experience, possibly. This is really great because you're working with children, have that kind of teaching, training experience. Also, what I think is really impressive on a TEFL CV is volunteering experience in any capacity. I think this is a really great touch as well to add. And worst case, if you have none of that experience, we do have a course especially designed where you can gain 10 hours of virtual teaching practice with our tutor team. Via Zoom, you can gain some really valuable experience and do some, mock lessons, and you'll get some feedback on them. So this is another option as well, guys, if you want to take part in this course. I'll just pop in the link there, guys, if you are interested booking on. I'm just going to pop it in the chat there now. Okay. I see. Okay, I have a message there. Oh, sorry, apologies, guys. I just sent it to the wrong person there. I just want to send it to y'all. There you go. So the link to our virtual teaching practice course is there if you do want to gain that experience and pop it on your CV as well. Okay. Could I just ask there, guys, apologies, just if you could mute yourself if there's any background noise, because it might be a bit more difficult to hear me. Okay, so guys, let's move on. Our next section, probably one of the most important on a TEFL CV, is education. So here, again, I would list your most relevant education, because, not all education would be related in terms of teaching and working with people. So if you're looking at your TEFL CV, I would ideally have your TEFL certificate listed first. If it is a requirement to have a bachelor's degree, I'd also list that first as well. So if you're looking at, for example, teaching in particularly Southeast Asia or even East Asia, of course, that might be #1 priority, is to have a bachelor's degree for this job. So you can mention that as well. What's important on your TEFL CV is to list the number of hours that you've completed on your TEFL course. Is that 120? Is that 180? Is that 310? Okay. list the number of hours, and also who your provider is. If you're not the TEFL Institute, who else? What is the company's name? Okay. Any questions there, guys, on that? Is that okay? Okay. So just a little tweak there you could make for education. If you do feel it's looking a bit bare, that section, and you want to enhance your credentials, you could complete one of our 60-hour awards or 30-hour specialist courses. I'd say many of you have come across these already. Usually they can take, you know, a week, 2 weeks, really quick course, and you can add that then to your CV. For example, it could be our 30-hour specialist course in IELTS preparation, if that's what the job is looking for, a bit of experience or subject matter knowledge on IELTS. That's perfect. You can do one of our specialist courses, pop that down in your CV, and it looks fantastic. It'll draw their eyes right to your CV to see that in. Or maybe the 60-hour teaching English online one-to-one course, which is fantastic for that as well. If you are looking at getting an online job, to have that specialism and add it to your education is really great, guys. I'll just pop in a link there if you are interested in signing on. But you should see all of our courses listed on our website as well, okay? Just add in that link there. Okay, sorry, I just got a quick question there in the chat box. So hi, Jessica, what did you say about the country code? Oh yes, so the country code, Martina, to add in your area or country code onto your phone number. So, you know, for example, if it's Ireland, it would be +353 and then your phone number, okay? So just make sure you include that in as well. Okay, sorry guys, there I just noticed I put in the wrong link. Let me just pop that in again for you. So that's an example of one of our specialist courses. So if you are applying for a teaching online job, this could be a great add-on to have for your CV. Okay, guys. And then of course, to add on is your skills profile. So on your CV, I think this is always really a tricky one. I don't know if you agree or not, but what skills to put down. You know, it's a very open-ended section, I feel. But I would say, again, what is relevant? Also, what is relevant to the job description? So what I like to do if I'm ever applying for any jobs is pull their job description from possibly the jobs board that you've seen it on, highlight the key words that keep coming up and what are under requirements, and incorporate that into your skills profile. Okay, so for example, if it says strong communication skills, training and leadership, even personality qualities, patience, you know, passionate about children, energetic, put those keywords in, okay? And it also, you know, it looks like you've done your research and you really put that effort in. I think what's a really nice touch as well is to showcase any linguistic or language skills that you have, even if it's not English related. So, you know, I have a, for example, not myself, but I have a C1 in Spanish, or I have a working knowledge of Chinese, because then you would be able to, or Mandarin, sorry, you'd be able to relate to your students better, you know. So if you do have, if you are applying to a company that has a lot of maybe Spanish students, you can mention, oh, look, I do have some Spanish as well. This could help your teaching. Okay. Sorry there, guys. Let me just let a few people in. We still have people coming in, which is fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to check there, guys. I see a question coming in. What is the best way to go about looking for an online TEFL job if I'm in South Africa? We are denied from a lot of countries. I know there's definitely some challenges when it comes to a South African passport, but I wouldn't be disheartened. We've definitely hired a lot of South Africans on our internships as well. But if you're looking for online, yeah, I think the best way to go, if you do feel, look, I'm applying to all these vacancies and companies and I'm just not hearing back from them, start your own business. This is so easy, very straightforward. We also have guides and webinars on this as well, starting up your own business. Or you can take advantage of freelance platforms. So where you would simply create your own profile, a bit like Facebook, you create your own profile, advertise to their student base, and they book on lessons with you. So you're not actually applying for a vacancy, you're creating your own profile. I have another question there from Anne. Would you present the skills profile as a list of skills with bullet points or an exemplatory paragraph? I love this question, Anne. Bullet points all the way, all the way. Please don't put in paragraphs, because I guess, especially if they have a high volume of CVs to get through, they more than likely will skip the paragraph. I'm going to be honest with you. So bullet points are always the answer, I think. I have another question there. So from Keith, hi, I have a 180-hour diploma from the TEFL Institute. Fantastic. How do I list it on my CV? Do I mention Ofqual level 5 and or Highfield? List everything. Everything. Make it look as impressive as possible. Absolutely mention the accreditations. I will say though, our certificates are globally recognized, so more than likely than not, they will recognize us, but there's no harm in putting in the accreditations as well, just to look your best. Absolutely. I'll take one more question there, guys, and move on. How long does it usually take after attaining your certificate? Does it usually take to get a job in general with the certificate? I just got mine in April. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, I get this question a lot. How long does it usually take? Unfortunately, it's impossible for me to say, really. It just depends which avenue you're going. Are you applying for jobs abroad, online? Are you going freelance? If you are looking for something instant and you need to start earning money straight away, I would say go the freelance route and set up a profile on a marketing platform and get going. Otherwise, yeah, it could take a little longer, but it just depends really what jobs you are applying for. But look, don't be afraid either to follow up with companies if you haven't heard from them. Pop them an email to follow up on your application as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on there. So perfect. Yes, very important point. Keep your CV to 2 pages maximum. Again, this may be an obvious one for most of you, but I still to this day receive CVs that are 4 or 5 pages long, and it is too long. I know it is difficult to get everything in 2 pages. I completely understand. But I think, like I said previously, put in the relevant information and condense it. Use bullet points. You know, even if you want to try and use Grammarly, put your CV through Grammarly. I'll just put in that website there, guys, which will do a spell check and will give you suggestions on how to condense your CV as well. So grammarly.com, that will help you condense down your CV. Okay, but bullet points are going to be a really great lifesaver there. Okay, guys. All right. So yes, and sorry, just as well, the cover letter, I would also keep this to 1 page. Again, it's not your autobiography, okay? It's not your life story. They're just looking for, do you match the job description? Are you the person we're looking for this vacancy? Okay. Any questions there, guys, before I move on CVs? Is that okay? So as one of our students in the TEFL alumni, you feel free to send us on your CV at any stage if you do wish for us to review it and give you some feedback, even after today, if you want to put it together, and you can email myself at the recruitment team and I can give you some feedback as well before you send it off. Just a short point I want to add as well. What you could do to go that extra mile is create an introduction video. So you may have seen this on some job descriptions. It may sound daunting, but it's okay. It is just a short video, can be 30 seconds to 1 minute, just introducing yourselves, okay? And I think if you want to note as well, if you are on this webinar and you are not a native English speaker, I would say this will definitely be a great way to showcase your fluency, okay? And a way for you to stand out as well. I actually have a guideline as well, guys. I'm just going to add it to the chat there. I hope I can anyway. Just some guidelines on what you can say in your introduction video as well. So let me just get that now for you guys. And if you just keep an eye on the chat, it should come up there for you. So you should see a PDF, just it might take a minute there to load. Can you see that, guys? Can you give me a thumbs up there? You can see the introduction video guidelines. Yeah, lovely. So you can use that in your next video. It's a very short script, but just to give you a bit of structure and make sure that you're not rambling on as well in these introduction videos, okay? All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on to interview preparation, okay? What do we need to do before we start our interview? So I would say here, you know, firstly, print off your CV and have a copy of this that you can have in front of you in the interview, okay? You know, if you're doing this interview on Zoom or Skype, they won't see that you have a copy of it in front of you, so it'll just be for yourself if you do go blank on any questions, okay? Or even put some sticky notes on your computer screen. I do this all the time. You can add some notes there. If they do ask any tricky questions, you'll have that to save you. Okay. A few other tips there. I always have a notebook to hand. Anything I do, always take a few notes as well. That's always really, really handy. Have a glass of water in case you get a bit nervous. You'll always have that by you. Great tip as well. If you do suffer from interview nerves, I like to FaceTime or video call my friends the same day just to get comfortable talking on camera, okay? Because it can be quite daunting if it's, you know, you haven't used Zoom or Skype in a while. Have a chat with some friends the same day and it'll just get you more comfortable talking on camera. Probably one of my favorite tips I've ever learned, it's actually for English teaching, not for interviews, but I just apply it to everything now, is to listen to happy music before your interview. Okay, this will put you in a really good mood, in a really good form. Also really good if you're doing a demonstration. So in the interview, if it's more of a teaching demonstration style, you need to be really high energy and really happy and really smiley. I like to listen to some happy music before it. Sorry there, guys, I just have a couple of more people arriving. Let me just add them in. Okay, don't forget, guys, if you have any questions as well, pop them in the chat there. I'd be happy to answer them as well, or if you want to shout them out as well. Okay, and of course, what's very important and probably a given is to prepare. So prepare for potential questions, okay, that might come up. Remember, you're interviewing them as well, so you can prepare things that you would like to know about the company, and that just really shows that you're quite eager as well, okay? Personally, I like to research the company before even applying or before the interview, and even maybe check out their social media just to get an idea what it's like to work for them. I like to use these websites, so glassdoor.com or linkedin.com as well, just to check out the company, and maybe you can learn some facts about them to really impress them as well. I have a question there from Celeste. What kind of demonstrations do employers usually ask for? Some examples, please. So this would be, what I'm referring to is demo lessons. So this is quite popular in the TEFL industry. these would be doing a mock lesson, basically, to see if you're fit for the job. Sometimes these can be live, or you may have to record them beforehand. That might be a webinar in itself, actually, doing demo lessons, but I'll go through some tips at the end for that for sure. Okay, guys, and yes, I was just saying there about questions, so researching those. So of course you can Google them, maybe some typical TEFL questions that might come up. What I find good as well, maybe more targeted towards online companies, is to search YouTube. So a lot of people will do reviews of online teaching companies, and they will also give you a tutorial on how to do the interview or how to do the demo lesson. So I think YouTube's a really great resource for this as well. Some examples of questions could be, tell us about yourself. Probably my least favorite question because it's so open-ended, but they probably will ask you this because it's really going to give them the first impression of yourself. But again, of course, you know, give them about yourself, your personality, but try and tie back in again what relevant experience and characteristics you have to the job. What do you know about us? So what do you know about the company? Okay, so again, make sure you do your research so you're not caught in this question. A very popular one in TEFL interviews is, what's your preferred teaching method? So this is the tricky question. I would review my TEFL course notes, okay? So when you did your TEFL course, if you're doing it right now, take note of different methods and what do you lean towards, okay? What's your preferred method of teaching? And what skills do you have that make you a good teacher? Okay, so again, you know, when you're writing up that CV and you're doing your skills profile, you're also preparing yourself for this interview and have, you know, like I said, you can have a copy of your CV in front of you, have your list of skills, and you're able to pull what is the most relevant skills for this job. Okay, any questions there, guys, before I move on? No, that's okay. All right, so I'm just going to quickly go through some of the do's and the don'ts of a TEFL interview. So for the do's, so number one, wear professional clothing. Okay, of course, for an interview is always important. I know that maybe some jobs in TEFL could come across quite casual, but I always think it's a safe bet, to be overdressed and have maybe even just a shirt and a blazer. You know, there's no harm, okay? Of course, looking presentable, hair, you know, try to look smart as well. And of course, what's really, really important is to be in a well-lit, quiet and private room, okay? You also want to have a clear angle, okay, front facing, exactly how I am right now. In the center of the camera, you can see from just here, from the shoulders up, okay, this is the perfect angle. Of course, be on time. Remember to check the time zones. So there might be different time zones, okay? I know some teachers have been caught out with that before, okay? Do a test call and troubleshoot in advance, okay? Technology is very temperamental. I'm sure most of you experienced, especially during the COVID period, using Zoom and Skype. It's always good to test beforehand, okay? Make sure all your equipment is working, even write out a checklist before your interview. Make sure, okay, checking headphones, microphone, camera, everything, okay? It's also important that if you are particularly, if you're interviewing for an online job, that you have good quality microphone and your camera is also good quality, because more than likely you'll be using that for your lessons. So that's going to be a reflection on what your teaching will be like. This would be more specific to teaching English online, but knowing your technical specifications. So they may ask you about internet speed, device specs, and also your operating system, okay? And most importantly, follow-up questions, okay? So don't be afraid to ask at the end of the interview, what are my next steps? when you'll be in touch, and when will I know? Be proactive, forward thinking. I always like to send, a follow-up email, maybe even just the next day, say, look, it was great to meet you. Please let me know what the next steps are. This is always good as well. Okay, I'm going to go on to the absolute don'ts. Okay, guys. Number one, do not log in last minute. I think we've all done this in the past. We've logged in last minute, and then suddenly our Zoom decides to update, or our microphone is broken and we haven't anticipated any of these problems. So I would log in at least 15 minutes beforehand to anticipate any of these issues. Number two, I actually see this quite a lot, especially with possibly introduction videos I get sent as well, is do not use your smartphone or a tablet, okay, unless it's absolutely necessary. A lot of the time, our hands can be a bit shaky, it looks a bit unsteady, it just doesn't look very professional, okay? If you absolutely must use your phone or your tablet, you don't have a computer, I would invest in a good stand so your camera is steady. An obvious one, do not take the interview in a noisy cafe, outdoors, in a park. Please do not. It's a big no-no. This will cause a lot of disruption in your interview. Also, one to check before the interview, turn off your phone, turn off the radio, any music in the background as well. It probably will pick it up during your interview. Another one there is do not have a messy room. I'm guilty sometimes, or distracting objects in the background, okay? If you really don't have a suitable background, ideally they're looking for a plain background. You could make a virtual background, which is what I have right now. On Zoom, it is available to use this. And lastly there, guys, similar to angle here as well, make sure, you're not lying on the bed or you're on the sofa or something like this. Try and get a nice, comfortable upright chair and desk to look professional. Worst case scenario, you can invest in a laptop stand, and this will look better in terms of how you're presented on camera as well. So any questions there, guys, on interviews or even back to CVs as well? Any questions you have for me? We're okay.
May I ask, sorry?
Absolutely, yeah.
Maybe this is to be asked to teachers, but I don't really have any teaching experience, and my my voice is not that loud. Do you think this is an issue, a big issue?
So in terms of experience and the projection of your voice, is that what you're referring to? Yeah, I think, as I said before, with experience, I think, if you are feeling a bit anxious about this, you could even try teaching maybe friends or, maybe locally, try to get some experience there, or even just advertising online. Just try a handful of lessons. You could, not even charge some, they could be free lessons just to get more confident with using your voice. Even try recording yourself if you do feel quite, if you're not sure if your voice is projecting clearly as well. This is, you could record yourself on Zoom even. But no, I think, this is a common concern, all right, how it may come across. But yeah, I would say just get more confidence, record yourself, or like I said, do those a free few lessons just to get your confidence.
Yeah, I just enrolled for the 10 hours course.
Oh, amazing. That's perfect. That's perfect. So one of our tutors will definitely help with that. And even if you want to put that question to her as well about your voice and just build your confidence up there through doing activities. Yeah, that's perfect. You're doing exactly what you need to do. That's great.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions there, guys?
Me, please. Connor.
Hi, Connor.
No, hello, you're Jessica Jeffrey.
Yes.
Okay.
You have a
Good
question?
evening. Yes, please. It's also about. I'm really sorry. It's just about the having no experience as a TEFL teacher. Yeah, like once I complete the certification, that's all I've got. So I haven't got any experience.
Yes. So you're concerned, is it about not having experience?
Yes, because that is what a lot of employees look at.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a common concern that definitely comes up. But I think, I would always apply for jobs anyway, even if it says, you need 2 years experience and, all these impressive qualifications. I always just apply for jobs anyway and try. You never know. But there's different avenues as well, as I said before, about gaining experience, whether that's doing our teaching practice course, advertising some free lessons, even just practicing yourself at home, just to build up your confidence as well. I have another question there as well from Celeste. Should you smile a lot, or is a more serious look more acceptable? Oh, I love this question. That's a great question. I think for TEFL interviews and even doing your demo videos or introduction videos, I would actually smile too much. I would do a lot of smiling, a lot of enthusiasm, because at the end of the day, you're teaching, more than likely you could be teaching kids, and you have to be a very animated person. In terms of adults, yeah, you probably don't have to be as animated, but facial expressions are going to be one of your biggest tools. Okay, so they want to see that you are an expressive person as well. All right, but genuine smiling as well, if you're excited to be doing the interview and to start teaching as well, that will really shine through as well. All right, and that actually brings me on to my next point. I had a question in beforehand in this webinar about demo lesson videos. Again, this would be probably a webinar in itself. It's so big, because there's different types of demo lessons you can do. They could be in person, they could be live on Zoom, or they may ask you to pre-record it beforehand. I know it is a very daunting exercise, but I think, again, my number one tip would be YouTube. It's amazing, really is. If you can even search by specific company name, and there's be some really great examples that you can learn from as well. Or there's no harm even just asking the employer, do you have an example you could show me? But a lot of the time they'll give you guidelines, the material, and what you need to follow for this. And that just ties into my previous point about facial expressions. This is super important in a demo lesson. Not only facial, but also hands, so gestures, again, because you want to bring down the teacher talking time. Okay, keep it to a minimum. You want to balance how much you're talking and how much the student is talking as well. And correction that's your job as a teacher, correction. So you have to display this as well a lot throughout the demo video. Very underrated point, just to be patient, okay, and allow your student time to respond as well. Okay, I know, like myself, when I get nervous, maybe I just tend to overtalk. So just try and slow down and make sure your student has plenty of time to speak English as well. And as I said, of course, projecting your energy and your personality on camera is key. Okay, it's a big part of TEFL and a huge appeal, okay, to employers. And don't forget to have a bit of fun, if it's not the demo lesson, but also the interview. Have a bit of sense of humor as well, okay? This is always really nice to have, when appropriate, of course. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions there, feel free to pop them in the chat, or you can shout them out there, guys.
May I speak if I'm not interrupting you?
No, absolutely, go for it.
Hello. I'm sorry if it's not a relevant question, but I saw in your website that you provide internship in Italy. If I just finish, because now I'm doing my 180 hours TEFL at your institute, but if I finish this and I want to apply also for the internship, can I do this, or could not?
Yeah, no, absolutely you can. You can even ask for a possible discount as well because you've already purchased your courses. So you'll be qualified for the internship already. So absolutely, yes, you can. That is not a problem. Just a note, for Italy internships, you would have to have an Irish passport as well.
But I'm living in Italy. I'm in Italy. So
oh, you're living in Italy.
Yes, so that's why I'm asking about this.
Oh yes, so you would have to have an Irish passport.
Also.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yes.
it's only for Irish people.
Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Never mind.
But we're very open for other internships for those who are not from Ireland as well. If you do want to inquire, and you're a fluent English speaker, then please.
May you provide me about these internships if I'm not taking a lot of your time?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you could do actually is that Aya, sorry, Aya is your name?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, what you could do is contact us, pop us an email, or you can give us a call.
Sure.
You can book in a session with one of our advisors and they'll take you through all the internships, the requirements, if you're eligible, and find you the perfect internship. Is that okay, Aya?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, it's a good point though. Absolutely. The internships we have as well, guys, is a really great way to gain experience. So if you are struggling to find a job and just not getting those responses back, our internship programs are also a great option. I myself have done an internship and it was fantastic to have on my CV. Okay. Any other questions there, guys? Don't be shy. I see another question here in the chat box. Question from a person with no teaching experience at all. How would you deal with stress before interviews or going to a classroom to teach other people? Yeah, big one. Stress, nerves. I felt it all. Yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, even now, if I was still teaching, I would still have a small bit of nerves. Okay, so I don't feel it ever goes 100% away. But I think at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself, this is the student's experience. It's not yours. You know, it's their learning experience. Okay. And at the end of the day, they're probably not too concerned about you. They're more concerned about, I want to learn English. Please teach me English. I want to learn A, B, and C today. And really just put your focus into your students and giving them the best lesson that they can get, and try to get out of your head. I know that's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, it does get easier. You know, it just takes practice and you just got to really get your foot in the door, start teaching, and it does get easier, I promise. Yeah, another question there. Do you have to have a real student in your demo or can you have a pretend student? Again, Julia, this would be dependent on the company, what they're asking for. So there's different types of demo lessons, but they could say, look, we have some of our students in the school, and then this would be a free lesson for them. They might join it. Or you could get your friend or a relative and record the lesson with them. So it just depends what they ask for, really. I think, you know, it is nice to have your friend to do it, but at the same time, probably more advantageous to have a real student because it's an opportunity to make real corrections, and it will be easier to grade your language as well. Another question there from Manuel. What would be an ideal TEFL teacher candidate? Is it country, someone with a teaching degree, or experience? That's a great question. It depends on the country. So different countries have different requirements, okay? Some can be quite strict in terms of what passport you hold. Some might be very strict in terms of if you have a bachelor's degree. This is actually a lot of the time not to do with preference, but to do with visa requirements, okay? So unfortunately, there can be some restrictions with this. I don't think I could say what is an ideal candidate. You know, a cheesy answer would be someone who's just very passionate about TEFL. In my experience, they've been the ones who've really succeeded, whether they're native or non-native English speaker, or whether they've gone to college or not. I think the passion is what makes you successful. Another question there from Martina: where do companies advertise their job? Is there any particular website? Great question. There is our website. So we advertise jobs as well. If you go onto our website, I'll actually grab the link there for you guys. We launched last year a TEFL jobs board with TEFL jobs, specifically for those that have graduated from their TEFL recently, or maybe those who are a little more experienced as well. So I'll just pop in the link there for you guys, and you can start looking today. Okay. One moment there now. Okay. So this is our jobs board. There's also many jobs boards out there as well. Even looking on LinkedIn, you know, any type of job site, there usually will be advertisements as well. I hope that was okay of an answer, Martina. The next question there: I have been teaching for 4 years in the public sector in Morocco. How can I apply for a job to be there in Ireland? Oh, yeah, it's a tricky one. I think teaching in Ireland, it's a different criteria. Okay, so I guess we would more specialize in advising on jobs abroad or online. If you are looking at teaching English in Ireland, or generally native English-speaking countries, so where English is their first language, you are going to have another obstacle in terms of qualifications. So they're going to look for the best of the best, because this is already an English-speaking country, so the demand is going to be lower. I would go and get our best qualification. Okay, go for the diploma, our TEFL diploma. Okay, that's going to give you that edge and make you a more competitive candidate as well. Okay, if you are looking at teaching in Ireland. Oh yes, I just see an answer there from Emma. Depends if you work in secondary or primary. Primary school, you requested Irish. Secondary school, a teaching degree and a bachelor would you? Yes, so this would be for more public schooling as well. It's a slightly different kettle of fish. No, some great questions, guys. Any other queries you have, guys, or if you want to shout them out as well, feel free. Let me know if I missed any links as well, or any information you want me to add to the chat as well. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm probably going to start wrapping it up there. If you do have any questions from me, you can always give me an email. Our recruitment team is here to help you as well. You can book a consultation call as well with our recruitment team, and we will give you more personalized feedback on how to look for a job, also on your CV. I'll just pop the information in there so you can email us. And as I said before, you can forward on your CV. We'll give you some feedback as well. Okay. Perfect. If you have any last questions there, guys, you can add them in, or like I said, you can email me as well. If you enjoyed this webinar, guys, you can leave a review here. I just sent on the link there, guys. If you leave a review, you can also claim a free 30-hour specialist course. This is the one that you can add to your CV, you know, IELTS prep, business English. You can get this done in a week's time, pop it on your CV next week, and it'll give you a great edge. So if you want to leave a review of this webinar here, mention my name and email us the screenshot and let us know what 30-hour course you'd like, and we can enroll you for free. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a lovely Monday evening and very best of luck on your TEFL job hunt and your interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye now, guys.